Welcome back, everybody. You're here at Yesteryear TV, and these are the best horror films that scared everyone in the year 2013. Big list here, and we're going to see what movies scared you, audiences worldwide, and we're going to go with them in no particular order. So let's join me and see what scary films were scaring audiences worldwide for 2013. All right, let's check them out. Devil's Pass. A group of students go to the location of the infamous Dilatov Pass incident to make a documentary, but things take a turn for the worst as the secret of what happened there is revealed. Warm Bodies. After a highly unusual zombie saves a still living girl from an attack, the two form a relationship that sets in motion events that might transform the entire lifeless world. Warm Bodies. Wolf Creek 2. The Outback once more becomes a place of horror as another unwitting tourist becomes the prey for crazed serial-killing pig hunter Mick Taylor. Evil Dead. Five friends head to a remote cabin where the discovery of a Book of the Dead leads them to unwittingly summon up demons living in the nearby woods. Evil Dead. This remake was awesome. Final Prayer, or The Borderlands. A team of Vatican investigators descend upon a church in a remote area to demystify the unusual happenings, but what they discover is more disturbing than what they had first imagined. Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Brother-sister duo Hansel and Gretel are professional witch hunters who help innocent villagers. One day they stumble upon a case that can hold the key to their past. Dark fantasy horror. World War Z. I like this movie. Former United Nations employee Jerry Lane traverses the world in a race against time to stop a zombie pandemic. World War Z. I like it because it was very fast-paced and very realistic. VHS 2. Searching for a missing student, two private investigators break into the house and find a collection of VHS tapes. Viewing the horrific contents of each cassette, they realize there may be dark motives behind the student's disappearance. VHS 2. Insidious, Chapter 2. The Lamberts believe that they have defeated the spirits that have haunted their family, but they soon discover that evil is not beaten so easily. Next up we have is the infamous Night of the Living Dead. During a visit to see their wife and mother's grave, Jerry and his daughter Melanie and Barbara are going to experience a night they will never forget. Night of the Living Dead. I just saw this yesterday. I loved it. Under the Skin. A mysterious young woman seduces lonely men in the evening hours in Scotland. However, events lead her to begin a process of self-discovery. Under the Skin. Next up we have is The Wicked. Following the abduction of a young local girl, a group of teenagers test the legend of an immortal witch and get more than they bargained for. The Wicked. Next up we have is The Conjuring. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. The Conjuring. Supernatural horror, suspense, and mystery. Horns. In the aftermath of his girlfriend's mysterious death, a young man awakens to find strange horns sprouting from his forehead. Could he be the devil? Dark comedy and horror. The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia. A young family moves into a historic house in Georgia and learns that they're not the house's only inhabitants. Supernatural horror and thriller. Dead in Tombstone. A leader killed by his own gang gets offered a chance by Satan himself to escape damnation. So he's going to get revenge. Action, fantasy, horror, and western. Only Lovers Left Alive. A depressed musician reunites with his lover. However, their romance, which has already endured several centuries, is disrupted by the arrival of her uncontrollable younger sister. Only lovers left alive. The Complex. Two friends move into an apartment complex in LA, both determined to start a new life. Unfortunately, a series of unusual events start to occur all around them. People start going missing. The Complex. Comedy horror. Army of Frankensteins. A young man travels back in time, finding himself entrenched in the Civil War with an army of Frankensteins. Adventure, horror, and sci-fi. Next up we have is Jugface. When she learns the supernatural pit worshipped by her remote community in the woods has demanded her as a blood sacrifice, Ada struggles to find a way to survive. Jugface. Oculus. A recently released inmate from a mental asylum learns from her sister that the murders he was convicted of committing were actually orchestrated by a supernatural entity, the laser glass mirror. Mara. In the dark woods of Sweden, 5 young people are all alone in an old, isolated summer cottage. What should have been a nice, relaxing weekend soon becomes a living nightmare. Mara. Horror, mystery, and thriller. The Purge. I love The Purge. A wealthy family is held hostage for harboring the target of a murderous syndicate during the Purge, a 12-hour period in which any and all crime is legal. Simple. Just leave the country and come back after the Purge. Hell Baby. An expectant couple who moves into the most haunted house in New Orleans calls upon the services of the Vatican's elite exorcism team to save them from a demonic baby. Hell Baby. In Fear. Driving to a music festival in Ireland, a new couple become lost and are then set upon by a tormentor with unknown motives. Next thing we have is We Are What We Are. The Parkers, a reclusive family who follow ancient customs, find their secret existence threatened as a torrential downpour moves into the area. We Are What We Are. Folk, horror, and supernatural. Ghost Team 1. 2 roommates deathly afraid of ghosts both fall in love with a girl who believes their home is haunted. Comedy and horror. Ghost Team 1. Haunter. A teenager is stuck in a time loop that is not quite the same each time. She must uncover the truth, but her actions have consequences for herself and others. Haunter. Curse of Chucky. After her mother's mysterious death, Nika begins to suspect that Chucky may be the key to recent bloodshed and chaos. We love Chucky. We love it. We love Chucky. Hatchet 3. I also love Hatchet. A search and recovery team heads into the haunted swamp to pick up the pieces, and Mary Beth learns the secret to ending the voodoo curse that has left Victor Crowley haunting and terrorizing Honey Island Swamp for decades. Stalled. A janitor gets trapped in a woman's restroom and encounters an all-out attack by a horde of zombies. This movie's pretty funny, but it's also kind of creepy too. But it's good. Stalled. I think I saw it on Netflix. The Frankenstein Theory. What if the most chilling novel of all time was actually based on an account of a horrific experiment gone awry? The Frankenstein Theory. So maybe Mary Shelley wrote a true story. The Green Inferno. A group of student activists travels to the Amazon to save the rainforest and soon discover that they are not alone and that no good deed goes unpunished. The Green Inferno. Bad Milo. A man learns that his unusual stomach pains are being caused by a demon living in his intestines. Bad Milo. Body horror and dark comedy. Next up we have is Cargo. Stranded in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, a man sets in motion an unlikely plan to protect his infant daughter. Cargo. Drama, horror, and sci-fi. Willow Creek. A man and his girlfriend camp in the woods to capture first-hand evidence of Bigfoot. I don't think they're going to make it out alive. It may be found footage. Yep, it is. It's found footage. For those in peril. Aaron, a young misfit living in a remote Scottish fishing community, is the lone survivor of a strange fishing accident that claimed the lives of 5 men, including his older brother. For those in peril. Did he kill everybody? Go, go, gone. A group of friends just looking to have a good time in a rave party on a remote island in Goa find out that the island is infested with zombies. So if you like zombies, you'll love Go, Go, Gone. Evidence. A detective hunts down a killer using video footage shot by the victims of a massacre at an abandoned gas station. Evidence. Crime, horror, mystery, and thriller. Patrick, evil awakens. At a private clinic, a young nurse soon discovers that one of the comatose patients is quite sinister. Patrick, evil awakens. Sharknado. I love all the Sharknadoes. I think there's 8 of them. When a freak hurricane swamps Los Angeles, nature's deadliest killer rules sea, land, and air as thousands of sharks terrorize the waterlogged populace. Sharknado is fun. The House at the End of Time. After being wrongly imprisoned for the mysterious supernatural death of her husband, Dulce returns back to her old home to unravel the mystery that has haunted her for so long. The House at the End of Time. Banshee Chapter. Journalist Anne explores the disturbing links behind her friend's sudden disappearance, an ominous government research chemical, and a disturbing radio broadcast of unknown origin. WNUF Halloween Special. A horror comedy with fake news and commercial sections that was filmed on old video cameras to make it look like a real VHS recording of a commercial television station's Halloween special from 1987. Found footage horror. Almost Human. Mark Fisher disappeared from his home in a brilliant flash of blue light almost 2 years ago. His friend Seth tries to find him. But what happened to Seth? Rigor mortis. A public housing tenement is plunged into a dark storm of supernatural chaos. Body horror, action, fantasy, and horror. Rigor mortis. Afflicted. 2 best friends see their trip of a lifetime take a dark turn when one of them is struck by a mysterious affliction. B action, B horror, and thriller. Afflicted. Proxy. The life of 3 parents who have all shared the loss of a child. Motives are not what they seem, and sanity is in short supply in this thriller. Proxy. Horror and thriller. The Sacrament. A news team trails a man as he travels into the world of Eden Parish to find his missing sister, where it becomes apparent that this paradise may not be as it seems. The Sacrament. The Giant Spider. When radiation left behind in atomic weapons testing creates a gigantic killer mutant arachnid, it's up to a trio of scientists and army general to stop the hungry spiders. The Dead 2, India. An infectious epidemic spreads through India as an American termite engineer learns that his pregnant girlfriend is trapped near the slums of Mumbai. The Dead 2, India. Zombies. Zombie Night. I love Zombie Night. Zombies come out at night and 2 families must survive until morning. Featuring Alan Ruck and Anthony Michael Hall. Zombie Night will not disappoint. A defense attorney begins to suspect that there might be more to her client, who is charged with the murders of a vacationing family that meets the eye. So he may be a werewolf. Werewolf. Blackwood. The classic English ghost story gets a revision when a college professor finds himself plagued by spectral visions. Folk horror, horror, and thriller. Blackwood. All Hallows Eve. While babysitting two children on Halloween, a babysitter finds a VHS tape in one of their candy bags. The tape contains 3 horror stories linked by a killer clown. As the night progresses, strange things happen in the house. All Hallows Eve, brought to you. The Den. While studying the habits of webcam chat users from the apparent safety of their home, a young woman's life begins to spiral out of control after witnessing a grisly murder online. Lights Out. When you are all alone in a small dark room, what do you fear the most? Is it temporary blindness, or is it the uneasy deep feeling that someone, or rather something, is observing your every move? Lights Out. Never Lake. On a trip home to Italy to visit her father, Jenny is thrown into a world of mystery, horror, and legend as she is compelled to discover the truth behind all his secrets and lies. Never Lake. Savage Land. When a small town near the Arizona-Mexico border is wiped out overnight, suspicion falls on the lone survivor. But a roll of photos the survivor took that night tells a different story. Savage Land. Found footage. Mr. Jones. A young couple moves to the woods and soon finds their nightmares and reality colliding. Mr. Jones. Drama, horror, and thriller. A haunted house. Malcolm and Keisha move into their dream home, but soon learn a demon also resides there. When Keisha becomes possessed, Malcolm turns to a priest, a psychic, and a team of Ghostbusters for help. Comedy and horror. Big Ass Spider. A giant alien spider escapes from a military lab and rampages the city of Los Angeles. Big Ass Spider. I love Big Ass Spider. Be action, comedy, and parody and horror. Carrie, another remake. A shy girl outcast by her peers and sheltered by her religious mother, unleashes telekinetic terror on her small town after being pushed too far at her senior prom. So you never want to push people. Dark Skies. As the Barrett's family's peaceful suburban life is rocked by an escalating series of disturbing events, they come to learn that a terrifying and deadly force is after them. Dark Skies. Jinn. An Emirati couple return home from a trip and discover that their new apartment has been built on a site that is home to some malevolent beings. Jinn. Folk horror, and thriller. Home Sweet Home. A young married couple comes home from a date night to discover that they are imprisoned in their own house with a methodical killer inside. Home Sweet Home. I Spit on Your Grave 2. When Katie innocently accepts an offer to have new photos taken for her portfolio, the experience quickly turns into a nightmare of rape, torture, and kidnapping. Splatter horror, and thriller. Mama. 2 little girls disappeared into the woods that day and their parents were killed. When they are found 5 years later and begin a new life, they find that someone or something still wants to tuck them in at night. Mama. The Last Days on Mars. A group of astronaut explorers succumb one by one to a mysterious and terrifying force while collecting specimens on Mars. So something or someone is killing them up in space. Odd Thomas. In a California desert town, a short order cook with clairvoyant abilities encounters a mysterious man with link to a threatening force. Odd Thomas. I just saw this about 4 or 5 months ago. It's very good. Open Grave. A man wakes up with no memory in a pit full of dead bodies in the wilderness and must determine if the murderer is one of the strangers who rescued him or if he himself is the killer. Open Grave. Return to Nukem High Volume 1. When the other students begin to undergo mutations, a lesbian couple must solve the mystery and save Traumaville High School. Return to Nukem High Volume 1. A field in England. Amid the civil war in 17th century England, a group of deserters flee from battle through an overgrown field, Captured by an alchemist, the men are forced to help him search to find a hidden treasure that he believes is buried in the field. Scary Movie 5. A couple begin to experience some unusual activity after bringing their lost nieces and nephews home. With the help of home surveillance cameras, they learn they're being stalked by a nefarious demon. Spiders. We love spider movies. After a Soviet space station crashes into New York City, a species of venomous spiders is discovered, and soon they mutate to gigantic proportions and crash the party in New York. That we have is The Damned. After a family is involved in an accident, they take refuge in a secluded inn where they free a girl locked in a basement without knowing she's an ancient evil spirit. The Damned. I like this movie. It was good. The Green Inferno. A group of students activists travel to the Amazon to save the rainforest and soon discover that they are not alone. Maybe you should get a life hero before it's too late. The Green Inferno. Exorcism Part 2. As Nell Sweetser tries to build a new life after the events of the first movie, the evil force that once possessed her returns with even more horrific plans. The Last Exorcism Part 2. The Mortal Instrument, City of Bones. When her mother disappears, Clary learns that she descends from a line of warriors who protect our world from demons. Teen adventure, action, horror, and adventure. The Returned. In a post-zombie world where the infected live normal lives, their retroviral drug is running out. The Return. So now they're going to be back to zombies. Texas Chainsaw. A young woman travels to Texas to collect an inheritance. Little does she know that an encounter with a chainsaw-wielding killer is part of the reward. Slasher horror. Toolbox Murders 2. Samantha is kidnapped by a serial killer, locked in a cage, and forced to witness dozens of people being killed. After 10 days in captivity, the killer begins to fall in love with her until she is rescued by police. Toolbox Murders. Warm Bodies. After a highly unusual zombie saves a still living girl from an attack, the two form a relationship that sets in motion events that might transform their entire lifeless world. Willow Creek. A man and his girlfriend camp in the woods to capture first-hand evidence of Bigfoot. Those are the best horror films for the year 2013. What were your favorite films that you remember that came out that year? That's already, 12 years ago? So a lot of more movies came out in 2013, so this list is not all-inclusive. But I would say these are the top scariest horror films of 2013. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. I'm Tony. Thank you for joining me here at Yesteryear TV. And I'll see you all in the next video.